Yes. Next slide, please. Just to give a background of climate change, on the left side, the picture one shows that greenhouse gases, they are the fundamental for keeping the temperature within the atmosphere. The picture two shows that this carbon dioxide is giving 76% out of these greenhouse gases, a major contributor. The pic three shows that over the last so many years, the yellow graph shows the all the developed countries' contribution, and the red shows how China is coming up in the contribution of
अभी इसमें
greenhouse
आंसर
gas.
करना पड़ेगा इसका
And green, the third is the how India is emerging, and blue is the one how the rest of the world is coming. So this graph shows that over the last more than 60 years, the developed countries are the major pollutant in the whole universe. Of late, last 30, 40 years, China has picked up, and now over the last 20 years, India is picking up. This is how the pollutant are happening. The pic 4 shows that, as per the estimate, it could have been 1.1 degree now by 2022. Can you take to the next slide, please? Doshali, can you make a next slide, please?
Yeah, it's changed on my screen. Yeah.
Yeah. Now the relevance to electricity, the picture 5 shows that out of that 76% of the CO2 contribution, if we make that 100, so electricity contributes 43%. Whereby I mean to say that in totality of the total greenhouse gas, it is nearly 30% contribution of the CO2 because of the electricity. And on the right, the last picture shows that the so far the pollution has happened whereby uh, 2496 gigatons of CO2 has already been released in the atmosphere. And now the concept of the carbon budget has come into the market, whereby if we have to limit this temperature up to 1.5 degrees centigrade, the globally all countries together could only release 380 2-degree centigrade rise. Maximum carbon budget available to the whole universe is 1230 gigaton more. So this shows that anytime if we reach to 2 degree centigrade, would either be effective
I think there is an issue from Mr. Rajiv Karyal's side. So looks like this picture is frozen.
Also request if the participants can also slightly remove the video on off position, that will be fine. Participants requested, yeah, go for the video in the off mode.
I think he has some issues. So,
He is having a technical issue. Maybe we can move on to the next speaker and come back to him again.
oh, okay. So it's our apology from our side because our webinars and video conferencings are always challenging to cope up with the technical issues. Anyway, so once he is ready with his from his side, we can give him a chance to speak on the Urja Arpan. So let me just go to the next speaker, Ms. Savitri Singh, in the interest of the time. She is General Manager Technical in Energy Efficiency Service Limited, and I was told that she is based in Port Blair today. And I would request her to limit her views in 6 to 7 minutes. Madam, over to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Good morning to everybody, and wishing you all a very happy Energy Conservation Day. Sir, you know that I am out of mainland here in Andaman Nicobar Island, so I am facing also network. I'll switch off the video also while speaking so that interruption can be avoided. Please allow me. Thank you, sir. As today, just because this opportunity has been given to me on behalf of ESL, I wanted to put my experience towards the transformative power of energy efficiency in creating a greener job market. As we navigate the challenges posed by climate change, it is imperative that we should uh, not only adopt the sustainable practice but also recognize the potential for green job, which ESL has done a lot. And we all are aware that India is the fastest growing major economy in the world, projected GDP growth of around 6.5%, more than double the average growth of advanced this economies, and contributing to 7.1% of total global carbon emission as of 2021. And also in the last, our honorable PM climate commitment, as he declared a five-fold strategy achieving 500 gigawatt non-fossil fuel energy capacity by 2030, and which projected carbon emission by reducing carbon emission by 1 billion tons by 2030. And to achieve the target, all the organization are working, and for this ESL has done already. Ganaik sir, you have said that we have done a phenomenal work in all sectors, street lighting, buildings and pumps, but due to recoveries we are facing some challenges. But I'll put what we have done and how uh, we are recognized as a super ESCO, and for which my contribution to my company being a in Southeast region, that I'll explain. But as of whole of India, ESL in the last 13 years, that figures just I want to mention here because this figures are massive. That we have almost 9 crores household have been provided with 3.6 crores of LED lights, while over 1 crore smart street lighting have been installed in 1,326 urban local bodies, along with 12,710 government buildings being upgraded to become more energy efficient. And these buildings we cover railway, airport authority, and many central government organizations. Now we are looking after on this private sector also, for which we are looking after new business models, and will be able to our ESL energy programs have been able to reduce the annual energy consumptions of 57 billion units, and helping the country to avoid peak demand of 11,200 megawatt. These programs not only have reduced the carbon emission by of 45.5 million tons annually, and this shows the commitment towards our national NDC goals. And the about this, if I have to put my, I don't know the exact figure, but about 50,000 people has been directly or indirectly employed through our contractors, through our clients, and all the vendors, means maintenance, surveys, and ESL has employment, regular and contract employees. Altogether, approximately 50,000 people have been employed. And in GHMC, just because time is very less for me, what I have seen while doing this work, 1.4 million of lights we have installed in Telangana, and which around 5.25 lakhs of light in one GHMC, that is Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation. And that was a big achievement in ESL in 2017-18. Garnaik sir, every time he used to appreciate us, how we have done by involving many contractors, our this complaint handling systems. It helps a lot. uh, we used to get a certificate from police department, from other department, that crime rates had been come down. And the small contractors, which they were not aware of the how to participate in the tender, we educated them how to participate in the e-bid, because it was all their as a package contractors earlier they used to do. But now if you meet them, you will find a lot of change, that social upliftment. I'm proud of myself. Okay, we have done a lot with this small contractors whose earning were 2 lakh uh, around, for a month or 2 months. Now they are fixed amount, that our model, that per light per month. So the assurance we have given, that I don't think any other organization has taken this type of risk also. With risk we have taken, but the achievement, the social impact, it's a very high. If you meet them, they will, the confidence we have built in. And I have involved in last year, just I have asked my all contractors to adopt a school building, and for that, please see a 50% of girls' schools. So it came out very nicely. In 30 circles of GHMC, they have gone for each contractors of two schools. That 60 schools they have reached also. And with that, we have given to that the enthusiasm between the teachers and students. It was, I can't say in words, but the photographs and all, if you just go through back past and all, whenever you are getting this all, nothing is happening, so your stress level will come down. That type of uplift done. And in my area, control area, so this contractors, the social audit we have done, and they found the light are bright, safe. If you just go and ask the students, so they are happy. They're getting a very bright light coaching and all these small things are there. At last, I can say we all should, as Garnaik sir said, all institutions should come forward, like financial institutions, all NGOs, all regulatory and policy makers, and the private people. The awareness we have to do a lot. Now also the 5% we have achieved a lot more. So just I can I want to finish with this. Energy efficient is the cheapest fuel, and we have to go along for it. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for your views on the work which you have done in GHMC, particularly the street lighting aspects. And you touched upon very important aspects that how it has created the jobs from many people in the ecosystem, manufacturing, supply chain, contractors, the maintenance people. So it has created a massive impact in that way. The other point also you highlighted about the social impact which it has created. particularly the kind of safety for the people because of the higher illumination on the road. It has also increased the kind of satisfaction level among the customers. But at the overall, if we talk about the municipality side, they have also saved the energy, maybe to the tune of about 55 to 60%, which is massive one. So this is, and
Yes, sir.
this particular thing has been quite possible because of the economy of scale, the technique which we adopted on the bulk procurement, thereby reducing the cost of the technology, cost of the LED light by almost 50 to 60% or even more. So thank you very much for your insight to that, and I hope that not only the other municipalities where ESL work in more than 1,600 ULBs, but probably other municipalities, Gram Panchayats that would follow. But nevertheless, it may go to the out of our country as well, the other countries to follow this model. Thank you very much. So,
Yes, thank you, sir.
ladies and gentlemen, we could not have Mr. Jivesh Nandan in the beginning for his keynote address, and I was told that he's available now. So, sir, over to you. And if you can just give your insight within 5 to 6 minutes, it would be great. Thank you. It seems that still we are not able to hear him, and it seems that his side still the technical glitch is still there. So, I request you, sir, if you can just try to do this, sort this out, and we can get back to you at the end of this session. So that would be great. So, in the interest of the time, let me go to the next speaker, Mr. Paraman Radhakrishna, who is director in Devki Energy Consultancy Private Limited. He will be speaking on the energy audit, and that is what every energy efficiency personnel professional talks about. And let us hear from him his experience over the last 25 years. Paraman Saab, over to you.
Very good morning to you, Gurnaik ji, all the co-panelists, and all the other delegates who have taken time off and joined the session. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you
Yes,
are.
sir.
Okay. I'm also in a remote place near Haridwar. So just to be careful, I think I will also keep my video off so that there is no disruption in between, hopefully. Since time is short, I'll straight away get down to the topic on which I've been asked to speak. In fact, I've been asked to reflect on my experience as an energy auditor. This Energy Conservation Day, in fact, is very special as it comes a day after the landmark COP28 resolution at Dubai. Honestly, in my past 38 years as an energy auditor, I never imagined that one day a fossil fuel rich Persian Gulf country will be hosting the COP and supporting a resolution which signals the end of the fossil era. Okay, I never imagined it would happen. Now that the signatures are in place, hopefully, I think if there is no major political upheaval in the world in the coming decades, this resolution hopefully will carry through and will help propel our activities for increasing the renewable energy component in the energy supply and also improving the energy efficiency use in the various applications. Energy audits, as you know, are micro level studies at the field level to improve the operating efficiencies, reduce energy consumption, reduce carbon emissions and operating costs, and thus improving sustainability. The driver for energy efficiency still remains the reduction in operating costs for most end users, whether it is industry, commercial buildings, agriculture, whatever. It is the results of these energy audits which are helping the evolution of macro policies at the national level for various sectors. And also, when macro policies on certain energy supply issues like renewable energy or uh, energy conservation are mandated by law, it is the energy auditors who are the messengers who help organizations to adapt to the new circumstances.
Sorry to interrupt you. I am audible.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is Mr. Jivesh Nandan going to speak now?
No, please continue. We'll take him in
Okay,
after.
okay. Now, coming back to my reflections on the India's energy efficiency journey, uh, it will be a bit autobiographical in nature because uh, I've been an energy auditor all my life. From the day I stepped out of engineering school in 1986, from day one, I've been working as an energy auditor. Okay, probably I might have been the first energy auditor to uh, begin and probably eventually end his career also as being only in this field. So, in fact, in the past 37 years that I've been working in this field, mainly on industrial energy conservation and also conservation in commercial buildings, when I look back at what happened in India, I have to admit that India was a bit slow when it came to acting on energy efficiency. Unlike Japan, India was very slow on its feet to take forward the message of energy efficiency to its people. Those days when we were students and when we were, uh, because of our interest in these subjects, looking at documents, I used to only find a very apologetic mention in the Planning Commission document saying that energy efficiency is the fifth fuel and we should improve energy efficiency to reduce energy consumption by about 5%. But after that sentence, there was no action plan to take it forward. It was all about energy supply, and more energy supply. Okay. Dig for more coal, prospect for more oil, import more oil, and try to supply the energy needs of a developing nation. Today, Garnaik ji mentioned that energy efficiency is the first fuel. Okay. I'm happy that it has been promoted to that level from the fifth position in the 80s. And during those days, in the mid 80s up to the early 90s, in fact, there were not many energy auditing firms. Okay, the National Productory Council and Devki Energy, our company, were probably the only companies doing serious work there. A few years later, TERI formed a group for energy conservation. Okay, and those days, the awareness level was quite low. We as energy auditors, our understanding of the subject also was not too good. And in fact, I remember in one of the often people, very senior dignitaries in chief guests in functions, etc., often used to mispronounce energy conservation as energy conversation. Okay, they would say we have to have more energy conversation. In fact, the conversation was happening, very little of conservation was happening, very few projects getting implemented. But that was the starting point. Then it was in the 80s, one state took a lead in recognizing, okay, though at the national level, it was still not getting the importance. Gujarat was the first state where in the late 70s or sometime in the early 80s, they formed the Gujarat Energy Development Agency, the first state to have a nodal agency focusing on renewables and energy efficiency. Subsequently, the other states replicated it. And it took quite a while before the central government got serious and they formed the Energy Management Center in Delhi under the Ministry of Power. I think it was sometime in 1992 or so. EMC, but EMC, as it was slowly getting active, already energy costs were rising and many organizations were getting interested in energy audits in the 90s. And especially in the western part of the country, quite a few energy auditing firms came up, startups, okay, which were catering to this market where people were asking for energy audits on a voluntary basis. There was no government requirement. But by then, the nodal agencies came up in the other states, and some support was being received for this for energy audits in industries and also in buildings, and this activity slowly picked up. It was only after the passage of the Energy Conservation Act in 2003 that at the national level, a real focus came on energy conservation. EMC did do its bit through sectoral studies, a bit of capacity building, and so on. But since it did not have legal teeth, okay, the progress was very, very slow. But after EMC was renamed as the Bureau of Energy Efficiency after the passage of the Energy Conservation Act, the Bureau of Energy Efficiency, BEE, was quick on its feet. The first thing which it did was to ensure that certification examinations are held for energy auditors, thereby ensuring that there is a minimum understanding of the subject for people who call themselves energy auditors. Previously, it was anybody could call himself or herself as energy auditor based on his own vague understanding of the subject. Then came the next big milestone, which has worked for improvement of the energy efficiency and the reduction of the energy intensity of the country very significantly. Okay, that is the Perform, Achieve, and Trade scheme. This was one activity of the mandated activity whereby corporates and large designated consumers, energy intensive consumers, had to reduce the energy consumption, the specific energy consumption, by a value that is mandated by the government, that the energy conservation activity in organizations moved away from the hobbies garage to the boardroom. Okay? Because moment it came as a mandate with its legal implications, both incentives and penalties, the managing authorities and companies took notice. And since then, there has been no looking back. And the success of the PAT scheme is very well known. It is now being replicated by many of our neighboring countries. And it is now being expanded to many new sectors, okay, like commercial buildings and so on. And which so is expanding the work available for the energy auditors in the country. Today, what does an energy audit give to a company? Okay, my experience says that normally about every energy audit does end up projecting about 5 to 10% energy savings, practically implementable. Okay, and usually companies shy away from some of the very high capex projects, and they try to focus on the low-hanging fruits and the fast payback projects, and end up saving something like 3 to 5% actually on the ground. Now, if you look at this compounded savings, okay, of 3 to 5% every year, okay, the impact on the energy intensity of the industry and the building sector is very, very significant. And the energy audit is usually conducted once in 2 or 3 years. So again, you identify new opportunities. And once the low-hanging fruits are gathered, then the companies, after having tasted blood in the form of savings, get willing to spend money in high capex projects and also out-of-the-box solutions. And it is here that, as Savitri ji mentioned, okay, EESL has played a very good role in accrediting energy service companies who are willing to take the risk, both the technical and financial risk, for supplying equipment to companies on a guaranteed sharing of savings basis. And this activity, though it is slow to move, eventually we are quite confident that this catalytic role of ESL will also ensure that companies go beyond this 3 to 5% savings which they achieve year to year to higher levels with the support they receive for high value capex projects. We have come a long way in terms of improving the energy efficiency of the industry. When we look at what is the future of this activity in India and for energy auditors working in this field, can we be complacent? No. Because there are still many organizations, old and new, India is a growing economy, which are still alien to the concept of improving energy efficiency. I can see Garnaik, or yeah, I'll be just finishing in a minute, okay? There are some areas of concern, me as a old-time energy auditor, which probably has to be addressed. One is energy audit being an interdisciplinary subject. The capacity building of energy auditors to improve their technical competence has to reach a much higher level than what it is now. Simple refresher courses will not do. They have to build their understanding in various subjects of science and engineering, probably trained by practical experienced energy auditors, by which they have those cutting edge capabilities. And with my experience of having conducted energy audits in about 22 countries around the globe, including Europe and North America, there is a market for competent energy auditors even in those countries where we believe that everything is selected well designed, very well automated. But often the automation there is very good for delivering productivity and quality, but not good enough for ensuring energy efficiency. So that level of first principle analysis is something which our auditors can provide to the world, okay, provided they reach that level of understanding. Another issue which energy auditors should be aware of is that today it's not only energy and water are getting integrated. So today there is a market for integrated energy and water audits because of the issues of water availability, water quality, water pollution control mandates, rising cost of water, high energy cost of water recycling. Today in many of the organizations we work in, the energy audit work focuses to a great extent on the energy consumed for recycling water. So our energy auditor friends would probably have to slowly learn the tricks of that trade to get specialist advice from experts and move on. One last thing I would like to speak about is that what is the future for these kind of studies in light of the inroads which solar energy has made into the energy supply side, and very soon mandated hydrogen use also may come in. Once again, at the micro level, for integrating solar and hydrogen into the existing working setup in organizations, energy auditors are very well placed to help organizations to do it. Okay. And when I say that also, one thing, it's not connected with energy audits, but is an observation. Today, for producing hydrogen, people are looking to the West for technologies. Electrolysis of water is being treated as a very high-tech rocket science kind of a subject. But in the 80s, some of the first energy audits which I did was for edible oil industries, where water was electrolyzed for generating hydrogen for hydrogenating oils. Today, when I look at the cell voltages in those small systems and the voltages which are there in the modern systems, they're very close. And those hydrogen systems were being manufactured by MSME industries. So that is another area where today hydrogen, it's not only the big corporates, there is a good chance that our MSME industries would be able to deliver okay, hydrogen generating plants, okay, probably at a much lower cost. Just a passing thought. Okay. And finally, in the foreseeable future, energy audit, irrespective of what fuel is used, fossil fuels, renewable energy, hydrogen, whatever, energy costs are always going to remain high. So energy audits will continue to remain as a very effective operating cost reduction tool as long as humanity exists. Okay. Thank you for your patient hearing.
Thank you, Farwan Sahab. I think it was a very comprehensive thought from your side, from your experience. Two, three points which you raised. One is moving this concept, the energy audit. In fact, audit is a very bad word. People see that it is a fault finding exercise. But this diagnostic energy studies, I can say, so moving from boiler room to the board room, that is what you mentioned, is really catchable things. And that's the transition we have been able to, make the changes in the mindset of the management. The second thing is that you talked about the 5 to 10% saving in any case is possible, and people are always interested to go for attending the low hanging fruits and all. But that as we go up in the ladder, there is a possibility to go for newer technology interventions, which will require a larger capex. So what I mean to say, there are a lot of energy auditors or energy professionals who are listening to this talk today. The probability is not only just preparing a report in the form of energy audit. My suggestion to everyone is that if we can link this to the procurements, and I mean helping the industry in doing a good procurement of the technology or the solutions we are suggesting in the form of energy audit, as well as helping them in getting the finance. So these are the two things which are actually missing from the typical energy audit exercise what we do. So it is an integrated approach, but as Parvan Sahab, I fully agree with that this practice, energy audit practice, is going to stay. Rather, it is going to strengthen, considering the number of regions what you mentioned. Thank you, Farman Sahab, for your thoughts today. I think so. We have again. Let's try our luck. I was told that the technical glitch from Nandan sir's side is has been taken care of. Sir, over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Gandhakji. I think finally I am audible to everyone. A good morning to all of you. It was very heartening to listen to the speakers, Savitri Singh from ESL, and then right now, when Mr. Radhakrishnan, I think he gave us a complete background about how energy efficiency as a movement has taken shape in this country. I would like to, start from there itself. I would like to have share a little bit of my personal experience when we started working on energy efficiency, especially with Bureau of Energy Efficiency. It has been a very positive journey. In I got associated in 2004, and that was the time when uh, we we used to go to the states, we used to go to all part of the country, and we were meeting senior officers of the government and trying to tell them that please designate somebody, one of your agencies, as the state designated agency under the Energy Conservation Act. That was the time when we started the discussion about India's own standard and labeling program, which finally came in 2006. That was the time when discussions started on perform, achieve, and trade. And that PAT scheme, which has so successfully been implemented now, I think in 2012 or sometime, it finally took shape. So, you know, I'm trying to give a perspective that this is the time when we conceptualized ESL. And, as was mentioned in the beginning, I was very fortunate that I was the founding CEO of ESL. So, memories are there with me. And I see that it has been a very positive movement. And the success of this movement, actually, everyone owns this success who is part of this webinar today. And I would also like to, but at the same time, add a little bit, which I see as, uh, challenges which are going to be there. I would like to say something which is not really said very often. When we started energy efficiency or the Energy Conservation Act, it was essentially to as the another source of power generation. This is what was mentioned, because yes, the considerations were, but energy can be used more efficiently, and therefore our requirements for power generation as a country will be reduced. And so essentially we were looking at demand side of energy conservation. And it was around that time that uh, energy efficiency of supply side was also, it became a focus. And when that became a focus, it it should remain a focus. When it was mentioned that now the source of energy itself is changing. Now we are moving away from fossil fuel, and we are moving towards new sources of energy, whether it is solar, whether it is wind, whether it is going to be hydrogen, where it is going to be CBG. So, whatever is coming, we should not lose sight of the fact that energy efficiency is still needed on supply side on all these newer forms. And that is how we have to, you know, enlarge the envelope uh, from where we started. Even if the source of energy is changing, energy efficiency on the supply side is equally important. And in fact, some of us should start working on that side. Very recently, I came across this uh, some guidelines about storage of energy, and that is also on the grid scale. So, huge storage of energy. So, at that particular when we talk about different techniques and technologies which are available for energy storage, we have to look at which is more efficient. And this is an area where we must get in. You know, uh, we have to think of newer things which are happening, and how energy efficiency is relevant to these new initiatives which are coming in. It was mentioned that climate change, uh, the recent COP28, it has focused that our rate of energy efficiency enhancement, it has to double by 2030. I read in the newspapers today that this is part of the the global stock take that has taken place yesterday at COP28. So, energy efficiency is going to be very relevant from the point of view of climate change mitigation. There is no doubt on that. But let us not only, as the new sources come, let us enlarge our scope and let us look at those things also. With this thought, I will leave it with you. And I know all our young and energetic people who are working in this area will take it forward and think about it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I think it is heartening to listen from you the thoughts, particularly your experience, because you are the founder CEO of Energy Efficiency Service Limited. Not only the founder CEO, but particularly when conceptualizing this organization, when you are in Ministry of Power, and I was also fortunate enough to work with you. So, so a couple of points what you said, sir. The energy efficiency in the supply side. So, what we discussed so far in the usage side or in the demand side, but particularly who are the consumer of the energy. But you highlighted about anything what we can do from the supply side energy efficiency improvement. That is also one part probably has not been taken into consideration the way it should have been. And the other point is this again, you reiterated what Mr. Paraman said about that this energy efficiency market is extremely growing. It will grow, and definitely it has the massive opportunity for all of us how to contribute to that. So it's a virgin market, I can say, and that is what it is going forward. And probably Bureau of Energy Efficiency, who is patronizing this particular area, should have to look into the importance of the energy auditors, the accredited energy auditors in much better way, rather than giving a certification kind of thing. It's not a criticism, but the kind of constructive message I would like to pass on through this platform today. Thank you very much, sir, for your thoughts. Let me go to our next speaker, Ms. Neha Dhingra. She is Program Manager from CLASP, and CLASP is a non-government organization supporting Bureau of Energy Efficiency since many years, particularly in fixing the minimum energy performance standard of the appliances and supporting the implementation of the standard and labeling program, which is one of the flagship programs of the country. Neha, it is over to you.
So much, sir. Thank you to GI and Vicky for inviting me for this panel discussion. So the previous speakers before me have already provided a good background and an introduction about all the energy efficiency initiatives in the country, what Bureau of Energy Efficiency does. So I'll take it from there, and I would not repeat that. So I'll talk a little bit about Appliance Energy Efficiency Program, which, as Mr. Ganaik said, we have been supporting Bureau of Energy Efficiency and now EESL for over 2 decades. So this is Government of India, Bureau of Energy Efficiency has launched standards and labeling program for ensuring energy efficiency of all the appliances and equipment that are sold in the market. Right now, the program has expanded to include 35 appliances, which include residential, industrial, and commercial. So basically, all the major energy guzzling appliances are part of the program. And in India, the star rating program awards labels from 1 to 5 star, 1 being the least efficient and 5 being the most efficient. So what I want to say is that 5 star has a baseline. So each star rating has a baseline and an upper threshold, but 5 star does not have an upper threshold. So how do we define an energy efficient, a super efficient appliance? So, there isn't like a strict definition of a super efficient appliance, but for all practical purposes, we consider that any appliance which has 25 to 30% over efficient, higher efficient than the baseline of 5 star is usually considered a highly efficient or super efficient appliance. So the job of BEEs is to develop policies, and through the policies, they push the market up to increase the energy efficiency. And then there are market transformation initiatives such as incentives, subsidies, tax breaks, rebates, etc., which are some of the instruments which act as a pull for the market to kind of move the average efficiency up. Now, I'll talk about some of the market transformation initiatives that have been launched both by EESL and BEE and are under consideration as well to increase the average efficiency of the market up. So first program, as we all are aware of, and everybody, each one of us is kind of part of it and making it a success, is Ujala program, so which was launched 8 years ago. And basically through this program, it was a bulk procurement program, and it was the largest zero subsidy program. And the program helped in reducing the price of LED from, let's say, 500 to 600 at that point in time to 50 rupees. And now the program has resulted in, building and expanding a huge domestic LED manufacturing industry. It has provided huge energy savings to the consumers as well as the country. So that was a very successful program, which we are all aware of. Then another program that EESL has recently launched is Market Transformation Program for Energy Efficient Fans. So Bureau of Energy Efficiency launched a labeling program for energy efficient fans in 2012, and they mandated it last year. Building on that energy efficiency policy, EESL recently launched a market transformation program where they aim to promote and deploy over 10 million fans in the market through the end of the next year. And the business model is that through the bulk procurement, the prices of the product are expected to come down. They recently launched the tender for 2 million fans. So it's basically the demand aggregation model through which they are trying to transform the market. On AC, which is one of the major energy guzzling appliance, and as we all understand, cooling is a major energy consuming sector in India, and with rising temperatures and population growth, it is only going to increase further. So there are two initiatives that I will talk about. One is the Global Cooling Prize, which is launched by RMI, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and Mission Innovation. It was to spur the development of super efficient, climate-friendly, and affordable cooling solution. And the program aimed to identify 5x technology, which is 5x climate-friendly and comes at a 2x cost. So the idea was not just to deploy a prototype in the market, which is highly efficient, but also to commercialize it. The stage that it is at is currently, the prototype has been identified and Indian manufacturers have also won the prize. Now, the next stage is to commercialize and to ensure that, it gets adopted by people so that the average efficiency of the market moves up. The another program that BEE is considering is an AC replacement program, but it is in very, very initial stages. So in our households, there is a lot of stock of air conditioners which are older than 8 to 10 years, which is basically considered as the life of the appliance. So government is thinking of ways to promote the efficiency of air conditioners and thinking of replacing the stock so that we are not locking inefficient products in the market while we are working a lot towards increasing the efficiency of the new appliances. But what about the older stock? So that is another initiative that is being in very initial stages of thinking. So these are some of the initiatives that have been launched in addition to the policy to kind of move the average efficiency of the market up and basically promote the super efficiency in the market. Another thing that BE does is basically it keeps revising energy efficiency performance of the product every couple of years so that the program is not static and the market kind of and the policy is kind of catching up with the market. So there are some questions. So probably, after everybody speaks, we'll get back to that. Thank you.
Are you done?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. So thank you very much. I think it's a very well thought views which you gave, particularly the new initiatives which Bureau as well as EESL is going to take. And you talked about the super efficient appliances. Particularly, this is one of the initiatives, ladies and gentlemen, under the Clean Energy Ministerial CEM. We call it ACAD, Super Efficient Appliance Deployment. And she talked about the super efficient fan as well as the super efficient air conditioners. And 20 million numbers which are going to be deployed by ESL. I do not know the exact business model because I was also a part when I was in the ESL and what the kind of problem we face there. It's not only she talked upon one part, that is the bulk procurement, economy of scale, price reduction, absolutely fine. But once we are talking, this cannot be compared with a single product like a LED bulb. LED bulb is a kind of thing you purchase, you sell it, and you forget. But here, when you talk about air conditioners or ceiling fan, there the customer service has to be as stringent, as robust as possible, because you may have to replace their existing system, existing appliances, or you can target to a new customer and all. So the buyback policies he talked about, like replacing the older appliances with this new one, provided the program is designed in such manner. But in that case, the safe disposal of the older appliances will also come into picture, whether it is fan or whether it is AC. And once we talk about air conditioners, ladies and gentlemen, the safe disposal of the refrigerant is another environmental issue. So probably we have to think in a totality when we design the program and when this replacement or the buyback policy is introduced to that. I hope CLASP, ESL, and B will take into consideration of all these things when the program is implemented. Thank you, Nigha, for your all views and the insights what you gave to us today. So let me move to our next speaker, my ex-colleague again in FICCI, Industrial Water Use Efficiency. She will be talking about Ms. Karisma Best, Additional Director. And I'm glad to say that she was, she has completed n number of studies, particularly in the water conservation. And probably she may not talk in the energy side, but from the resource conservation side, water as a precious resource, as we all understand. And I would request her to give her thoughts. What are the views from the industries or the water end users, as well as is there any possibility to take this forward to the next step? Karishma ji, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ganai ji. Good morning, everyone. Sir, first of all, I am again in a water efficiency study at NFL Nangal. So maybe network, maybe some of issue. So I'm just switching off my video. So I've made a small presentation so that everybody get a little insight about the industrial water use efficiency. Parmanji has already made my job easier by integrating energy with the water. As he mentioned that when we talk about energy and water, they are all integrated, and a lot of cost of industry goes into pumping and treating this water, and its cost is substantial. So in terms of water, I need not to explain the importance of the water, as we all know that water is really important for everybody's life. Industry is main raw material is your energy, and water goes in hand in hand. So, so there is a lot of challenges along with the water, because we see water everywhere. But the one fact I think which I would like to mention here, since there are so many, I can see login participants, that fresh water requirement, the fresh water availability on earth is very limited. Only 2.5% water is actually fresh water utilizable out of total water available. And out of that 2.5%, only 0.3% is available in the rivers and the lakes, and only small percentage as a groundwater. So the availability of the utilizable water is really limited. So it becomes very imperative for the industries to become water efficient and conserve water in whatever means and ways it's possible. So just FICCI, as everybody knows, maybe is an apex business organization, and just give a quick small introduction that we are empaneled accredited energy auditing agency with Bureau of Energy Efficiency, and we are also recognized water auditing agency with Central Water Authority. And we give a lot of services to industries to improve their productivity and the resource efficiency in terms of water, energy, and overall environment. So I'll come quickly to the topic. There are key drivers for water use efficiency in industries. In my experience, like as Ganaik ji mentioned, that from last 20 years, we have been doing water efficiency studies in industries with the name of water audits, as audit is not a very welcoming word, as he mentioned. But yes, audit may be not fault finding activity, is a diagnostic study basically to identify where we can actually conserve, where we can save, and where we can recycle and reuse. So water use efficiency is one of his business risks. So many and most of the industries, it's a business risk to them if the water is not available. So water availability and good quality of water for a longer run, not for today, for a future perspective. If you have to run your industry for a longer thing, then your water as a watershed, good watershed should be available. So the water conservation becomes an overall responsibility, not within the fence, but also looking at the outside as a whole structure, as a what we call as an aquifer system. So business risk is one of the things that they take care. Then poor availability or non-availability of fresh water. So certain locations of the industries are that the maybe availability is really poor or the quality is poor. So they're spending a lot of money in treating the raw water itself. Then higher specific water consumption. So many industries are using a lot of water, and when they benchmark themselves with maybe international or maybe a good industries who are using water, so their specific water consumption are quite high. Then maybe high water bills. So water cost plays a very good role here. So water cost, like in Gujarat, varies from 20 rupees per meter cube even up to 60 rupees per meter cube. But if we see here in Punjab, they are paying only 20 paisas. So if your water bills are really high, that also moves the industry towards water use efficiency. Then high effluent discharge, if you are having, then there is a lot of PILs and there is a lot of restriction on the industries to dispose their effluents, and definitely they go for these efficiency studies and they move towards it. If they face a lot of breakdowns, leakages, spillages, then this is also one of the motivation. And compliance requirement. These days, a lot of compliance requirements has come up for the industries to make it mandatory for them to become water efficient and reduce their consumptions. And corporate image is definitely one of the things. When you have to compete in the international markets, you have no choice but to be a green industry, and the green growth is possible through energy as well as water efficiency go as hand in hand. So we can see that the most of the industries proactively are minimizing their water footprints and setting up benchmarks for specific water consumptions in their units. So just a small glimpse on the compliance requirement. So in 2020, Central Groundwater Authority has got a notification to regulate groundwater. So they have made water audit mandatory to all the industries who are abstracting groundwater more than 100 meter cube per day. So these audits has to be done once in 2 years, and they have given a groundwater abstractions by 20% in the coming 3 years. So under this, FICCI is one of the certified agency. There are other agencies like NPC, CII, and PhD, and we have given a rigorous training to be certified trainers, and we are helping the industries to meet this target and be efficient. And there is other norms, like for distillery sector, they are not allowed to discharge. They have to become ZLD. There was a charter from CPCB. Then MOF notification came for thermal power plants. They give a benchmarks like they have to achieve by 3 meter cube per kilowatt of the generation of the power. Same in the pulp and paper sector, like in 2023 November itself have come new benchmarks that the pulp and paper sector, they have given several specific water consumption benchmarks for the different sector, like if you are a recycled paper based, if you are a bleaching paper based. So like that, industries have to be ready to meet these norms. Plus, apart from this, it also helps in, like Parmanji mentioned that about the water cost. So just before coming to the benefits, the cost we need to understand. So it also a business sense for the industries. Apart from the sustainability, energy and this, like energy has a cost. When they reduce energy, they reduce, they save money. Similarly, when they reduce water, then also there is a lot of money, monetary savings are there. But we need to understand it's not only the sourcing cost gets reduced. There is a lot of cost associated with water, like when you are pumping the water, then energy cost gets associated. When you are treating the water, a lot of chemical costs get associated, and all the treatment system they run on energy. Then again, energy cost get associated. Then there's a labor cost if you are making a lot of replacements. Specifically these days, when you have to recycle and reuse, you are industries have RO plant, reverse osmosis plants. So a lot of energy goes into running these RO plants. And if there are a lot of rejects coming out of it, so reject management, then again industries are forced, if for becoming ZLD, they have to adopt multi-effective evaporators, and they are huge energy consumers. So then energy become a part of the water audit. So when we have to reduce water, the cost of water gets reduced, and the associated cost to managing that water and wastewater within the industry, whether you are treating, whether you are pumping the effluents or the raw water, whether we are making demineralized water in the process, if we are making a soft water as per the requirement. So all these treatments cost become the part of the our total water cost. So water and wastewater management cost is much bigger number than the sourcing cost. So whenever we go to industry and we ask what is your cost of water, they say maybe 10 rupees per meter cube, but it becomes maybe sometimes 30, 40, 60, depending upon the kind of other treatments and the pumping they are giving. So water cannot be moved in a facility without energy. So here, if we are reducing water, we are also reducing the cost of energy and the other chemical and treatment costs associated with it. So that we need to understand. So this water use efficiency saves water, saves energy, saves money, and most important, I would say from the other perspective, is refrain from water pollution. So because these days our water resources are so much polluted, that if you see the figure that 70% of our river water is polluted. So maybe because of the untreated municipal sewage and maybe due to industrial activities. So if we are consuming less water, we are more water efficient, we are definitely discharging less water. We are also managing our chemicals better, we are treating better. So we are also giving a better maybe may not be discharging, or even if we are discharging, a better quality water. So we are also reducing water pollution load in our nature, in our system. So we're conserving the nature as well. So that's why the water use efficiency also become a very important aspect as a sustainability point of view. If we have to achieve green growth, then definitely pollution aspect we have to take it into account. So in our experience, we have done more than 500 number of audits since we have started. And our experience says easily industries implementable schemes like up to 10 to 50% of the water can easily be reduced with the payback period of less than 2 years. This is what we have experienced, we have done, we have implemented. I have a case study quickly. I'll just go through. I know the time is short, but I will definitely would like to share this case study. And apart that we are saving water, there is a potential of saving the 5 to 20% of the energy chemical consumption cost associated with water and wastewater management. So there is a case study where we implemented the help of the WWF India, where we did the study, they provided the money, and we model unit where we made 4 difference, and the industry saved 50%, or like they reduced their freshwater consumption by 50%, effluent generation by 22%. And this was a model unit in UP in Meerut. So we made these 4 interventions. The technology, Garnaik ji mentioned that we need to go for a good and better technology in terms of energy, in terms of water. So we replaced their process technology from the medium low consistency.
I think there is a problem from Karisma's side. This is some of the remote places, as she mentioned initially. But yes, she has already spoken what I think she's trying to come back. Karisma, are you back? Karisma, we are not able to hear you.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah. Please go.
I'm sorry, Garnaik ji, I'm at remote location. I don't know from till where I get muted, but I was talking about this case study that where we made 4 interventions, like we changed the technology from the medium low consistency to medium consistency. We changed the whole showers, which were consuming more water, to the wide angle showers, and then we segregated the effluents. We made a lot of trials to remove the color, and then we segregated effluent, treated the colored, and then reusing this treated water into the pulping, and we also give a lot of training and discussion, which is very important. And the payback period of these investments was like 1.7. We made 20 lakhs investment, and the within weeks. So it helped us to reduce 50% water consumption, 22% effluent generation. This was a model study was created, and then we give a training into the cluster so that other industries get to know about the technology, their benefits, and they implement. In the last slide, I would like to say that we need to have these 5-6 steps in water efficiency. We need to know wherever we can eliminate, we should eliminate the use of water. These textile units, now they are going for dyeing, for waterless dyeing, the new technology which is coming up. Maybe something like that. We should reduce wherever possible. We should segregate the high TDS and COD water with the low TDS and COD. It becomes easier to treat and recycle. We should make a good treatment scheme and recharge. Rainwater harvesting is one of the important aspects. So in the end, I would like to just say that like Parmanji mentioned, that it's not only in India, water is also a concern internationally. So we have, together with Parmanji, have done water and energy integrated studies internationally and helped industries to reduce their water and energy together. So maybe in the end, there is a huge potential. And I would urge all the energy auditors to be maybe learn how the water and energy go hand in hand, and whenever they go for energy efficiencies, should also look into the aspect of the water, because when you are also reducing water energy, your automatically your energy consumptions also get reduced. You get a good potential there. I think I would like to say, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Karishma. I think it's a great experience what you shared, particularly from the industrial sector. You told so many points, but just in the interest of time and particularly for everyone, I can say that this is an eye-opener for all of us. We are talking about energy, but there is another angle to it, the water conservation, which we all know, but how serious is our water users, particularly the industries or municipalities or even water distribution agencies and all. So she talked about two things. One thing is that sourcing of the if there is a water conservation, the sourcing cost may be reduced. But the other side also, the water processing, whether it is pumping, whether it is other water processing kind of thing which happens in our industrial setup, that will also, the cost towards that will also increase. So it is a clear nexus between energy and water. And I always, ladies and gentlemen, also advocate water, energy, and the maintenance practice. These are all integrated approaches, and we must expand our thought process beyond the typical energy audit which we do, which is spelled out as an energy auditor exam or the textbook. But it is a much beyond scope is there, and that is where we can bring or help support to our industries to reduce their cost, overall operating cost and all. So thank you, Karishma. It was a great thing to listen from you, and I hope it will be good if you can share your PPT for the interest of all the participants.
Sure. Thank you, Ganaji.
So, ladies and gentlemen, let's come back to the circle again. We have with us Mr. Rajiv Karyal, who had just started the talk, but because of some technical glitch from his side, he could not. Requesting you, sir, to go ahead, but straight away go to the Urja Arpan thing, which is the new initiative you are looking forward.
Yeah, thank you, sir. So this, the concluding remarks for the carbon dioxide, just to share that over the last 1,000 years, 30 parts per million were the emitting. But surprisingly, over the last 20 years, the same ratio has gone up. So from 2020 to 2020, this 2000 to 2020, it's like 50 times the carbon dioxide emission has gone up. So coming to Urja Arpan as distribution company, as we are to the customers, we need to see that moving from awareness to behavior transformation where customers participate. We are encouraging customers under Urja Arpan, do the earth a favor, be a power saver, where we are asking customers to buy solar, air conditioners, 5 stars, BLDC fans, and EV cars. And the concept here is that we are recognizing these customers where people who are making commitment for 10 years to 25 years, the way solar is, we are giving them a platinum membership. The customers who are committing for 2 to 5 years and 5 to 10 years. So 5 to 10 years is the diamond members, and 2 to 5 years like LEDs and tube lights is the gold member. This is how we recognize them. We are speaking to all the stakeholders because we have 20 lakh customers directly, and a customer is more ignorant of our jargons. So the bottom line shows that if any customer saves 100 units, he is equally saving 79 kilogram of CO2. He's contributing that. And how much is the impact the tree, this 79 kilogram of CO2, 3 mature trees take a year to convert this carbon dioxide into oxygen. So whereby we are telling customers that if you are saving 100 units by virtue of buying 5-star air conditioners or solar or anything, you are equally doing the job of 3 trees. We have taken a pledge of saving 300 million units in the Delhi NCR, which would contribute to 10 million equivalent trees job. This table shows that if anybody installs 1 kilowatt of solar, he is generating 1200 units.
हर डिपार्टमेंट में जाने
So
का।
we are telling that the people who are installing 1 kilowatt of solar is equally making contribution in 36 number of trees over a year. So this is how we are making an emotional connect to the customers besides buying on the energy efficient guzzlers. This is our Urjarpan website. If you type urjarpan.com in Google, this will take you to directly our site. We started on the Earth Day last year. So far, along with the stakeholders and customers uploading, we have saved 150 million units. The customers have saved through their buying energy efficient appliances, and which is equivalent to the job of 45 lakh trees. This is the glimpse where that how across Delhi we are communicating. The left side of Urja Arpan, it's a drone photo where 400 children are standing on the ground. The way we are presenting now, we go to school. Once principal gives the in-principle acceptance, we are given 40 minutes. In that 40 minutes, along with the teachers, we move from their respective classrooms to playground, converge them with the 15 minutes and stand them on this pre-defined area and take a drone photograph and make a pledge that they would be contributing when they go back to their parents and share that. On the right extreme also is a 1,000 students into Rukmani Devi Jaipuria school in civil line. We had last year Earth Day conclave where IIT Delhi, IIT Roorkee, FMS, SRCC and all other DG were there, and all the forums were together to do this collectively. These are the partners and collaborators, as I've already shared with you, and we are part of the LIFE project also. And on the right side, this kind of a certificate, e-certificate, goes to the customer as soon as he uploads the document or the confirmation that he has already installed either solar or air conditioners or EV. And accordingly, a digital certificate reaches to him as a complimentary recognition from the Tata Power Delhi. Just to give you a glimpse of...
Rajesh sir, sorry to interrupt you here. I think your slides are not changing. That is what people are, giving. I'm also not seeing it is changing.
Oh.
Are you changing the slide or how it is? We are just seeing the
No,
first
I'm
slide.
changing the slide, but yes, if it is not going, I think, sir, I've just concluded also.
Okay.
So if because of the paucity of time, I think I can conclude in the last slide.
Okay.
And I can share the presentation deck too, so that respectively they can. Lastly, sir, I just take a minute more where I'm showing that the behavior shift transformation, what we are doing in Urja Arpan, and luckily to the esteemed guest here, that today Times of India also has covered this initiative of Tata Power Delhi into the newspaper today on the Urja Arpan, and giving to the demand response that so far over the last 3 years, we have already more than 1 lakh customers are participating in a demand response, whereby on our request a day ahead, the customers are switching off, are shifting their load from air conditioners to motors and non-essential load over the last 3 years. In summer 2021, we started with 2,000. The summer 22 was 25,000 customers. And this summer, we had 1 lakh customers. So that is a humongous participation where we are saying that we are moving from awareness to a transformation where people are actively participating. For these remarks, I conclude my presentation, and sorry for the glitches. Back to Ganaik, sir.
Thank you, Rajesh Saab, for your new initiative, the Urja Arpan, and the kind of work you are doing in the Delhi NCR region, and particularly bringing or enhancing the awareness level of all the people and bringing them to participate in their best way. So as we could not see your slides properly, so and many people have requested that the slides to be shared with them. I'll request my colleagues who are organizing this webinar to collect these PPTs and share with all who through their registered email IDs. But ladies and gentlemen, it may take some time because we have to collate all this information and put that. We'll definitely take care of that. So no need to be worried about that. Sorry for all these, because of the technical glitches and all. So we have received a few more questions as we have done with all the panel discussions. The questions are many, but let me, in the interest of the time, let me just pick up a couple of them. And then I'll ask all the relevant speakers to answer these questions and send back through the email which are not answered right now. So again, I'm sorry that I'm not able to, take all those questions right now. So first question, Karishma ji, it is to you. The question is that, is there any opportunity to get training and awareness program by FICCI in the industrial sector at Bahadurgarh through the through any association or through any platform? Can you just highlight on that? Is there any opportunity?
Yeah, we can connect to surely do that. We've been doing with a lot of association, lot of training and awareness program. This exactly can be done. My email ID is there in the PPT. When you share, they can write to us and we can organize that.
Why don't you write your email ID in the chat box so that people can pick up immediately here?
Okay. Sure. I'll do that.
Thank you. The other point, probably it is to Neha Dhingra. So what could be the ways and means to make the air handling units more energy efficient rather than measures to use the air conditioning, some energy efficient fans that we do? So Mr. Manoj Gandhi, who has raised this question, will you be able to answer this question, or you may get back to him after discussing with the Bureau of Energy Efficiency or your related people?
Sure.
This
I
is
mean,
air
I can.
handling unit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, thank you for the question, first of all. But I think neither Bureau of Energy Efficiency or us are best equipped to respond to that question, because the standards that are developed are technology agnostic, and the idea of the standard is to push the efficiency, thereby allowing manufacturers to use innovative technologies, whatever it may be, to spur the market. So somebody from industry or industry association will be better placed to respond to the question. Here, the idea is to look at where average efficiency in the market lies and then move the market up, basically looking at the average conditions.
Okay, thanks, Neha. I think Gandhi Saab, he is trying to tell that most of the standard and labeling program which has been taken so far are typically the domestic appliance sector. Not much work has been done in the industrial appliances, bearing few. Particularly the motor is there, or maybe the boiler, they have come out with the recent standards. Chiller has been included, if I'm not wrong. Something like that, but you have pointed out the air handling units, which is more pertinent, but it can also come as a, the totality of a chiller system. So probably we'll definitely, put this point to Bureau of Energy Efficiency at the opportune moment, and let's see what is their response to take this in the near future. Well noted, sir. Again, there is another follow-up question to what you say. What are the raw materials being used to improve the energy efficiency ratings by the product manufacturers? Is this not an alarming situation for the planet's health? Any comment on this? So that means any new technology, enhanced efficiency means new material. So that means more and more usage of material. So that would again detrimental to the earth in a different way. Is there any research analysis done? Can you highlight on that, or it has not been discussed at all at any level?
Sure. So, I mean, it does not necessarily mean that that by improving efficiency, there will be more material that will be required. In certain cases, there is change in technology, and it depends on the type of appliances that is under consideration, right? For fans, for example, there are PCBs that are in use. For air conditioners, there is inverter technology that is in use. So it does not always lead to increased usage of basically elements. Right? There needs to be a study that needs to be conducted to understand overall environmental impact, looking at the circularity, but it doesn't always lead to an increase in material consumption. I don't think
Correct.
that's
So thanks. I think this is the answer is yes or no. So probably this is the fact that there has to be a study, in-depth study needs to be taken just to understand that. We cannot actually ignore this point as well also, because new material requirement would be there. So there must be a requirement of the exploration of those materials, processing of those materials to have this energy efficiency of the appliances in place. So if a study is established, probably that can give us a better picture on how to deal with that. But yes, this is a concern. I also like to flag that particular point. We have a few more questions. So, ladies and gentlemen, my sincere apology. We are not able to take those questions, but I assure you that this will be sent. I have the list with me. So, this will be sent to you through your email ID, and we'll try to see that how best we can answer all these questions so that everyone can have a view to the answers and all. So with this, we have come to the end of this panel discussion, very enriching discussion and very pertinent experiences which have been told by our panelists here. Thank you everyone for sharing your views, all the panelists. So with this, I formally conclude this technical session here, and no need to go for a summing up because I have said whatever I wanted to say. And in the interest of the time, I'm closing this technical session here and handing it over to Mr. M.N. Girish, who is director and leading the resource conservation and management initiatives in Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry for his concluding remarks. Over to you, Girish.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ganaik. And I think this was a wonderful event which we on the request of Mr. Ganaikji, we did on Energy Conservation Day. And very important day for President of India is giving the award to energy conservation initiatives in the country. And also, as Jivesh Nandanji mentioned, the highlight of after the COP28, we have energy efficiency doubling by 2030 is being given the priority. So we have a lot of good push from the government side also on the initiative of energy efficiency. Along with all our speakers, I think we had a wonderful panelist here in terms of all the session. Like we had keynote address by Jivesh Nandanji, very important points which I have mentioned. And he was also heading the Bureau of Energy Efficiency as well as ESL for energy efficiency in the last 20 years. Ganaikji, you also mentioned about the potential which we have achieved is only 5% in terms of energy efficiency. So lot more are need to be achieved in the journey of energy conservation in the country. Of course, on the Tata Power, the activities which been done by Urja Arpan, we have heard, and distribution sector is again one of the important sector. We also heard from ESL, Madam Savitri, about the job, the green jobs. I think that is another initiative which can be taken up in India in bringing more energy efficiency knowledge power in India, which can be also utilized abroad in other countries. We also heard from Mr. Paramenji an important aspects in terms of energy auditing. Like he has mentioned that energy efficiency is a macro level activity, but it is driving to the macro policies to the countries. I think that was very important statement from Mr. Radhakrishnan Paraman. He was sparing around 1,000 more energy audits in the country. Also, we had heard about the standard and labeling importance from CLASP. Also, as Ganaikji added one important topic, because energy efficiency was the topic, but he emphasized that we should also have water also in the program, because water efficiency is also now taking up. And as Karishma mentioned, it is also Paramenji mentioned that it is an integrated approach for energy audit as well as water audit, or including the plans also realize that an integrated approach will be the future. And two more points, which is as a concluding remarks, sir, we also need to bring in more energy efficient product manufacturers in our activities. Like we have other things. So if you look at now, few energy efficiency companies are under the umbrella of Bureau of Energy Efficiency under the standard and labeling. Now, if you look at the entire energy efficiency products, because doubling the energy efficiency by 2030, we need to bring in energy efficient equipment manufacturers more upfront, and some amount of activities we can also jointly plan with GGI in achieving those targets. So we have been in touch with energy auditors and all those things. So the request is for bringing more energy efficiency manufacturers according the financing aspects which I have already pointed out. So these are the two things which we can also join hands with the GGI and other organization in achieving those targets of doubling the energy efficiency by 2030. And once again, on behalf of FICCI, and thank you, Ganaik ji, for designing such a program in a very short notice, and which was already been pending for long, but on a right day where we are also celebrating the Energy Conservation Day. So on behalf of GGI as well as FICCI, I thank all the esteemed speakers for making this particular presentation very active and alive. Also, we had around 250 odd participants joined, registered in this program. And we will be in touch with all the people as discussed by Mr. Ganaik in terms of coming out with some questions you have already raised, so that then further value additions and further interaction can happen in the future. With this, I once again wish an Energy Conservation Day, and we look forward to have those green growth. So it's not a concluding remark, it's an opening remark for having the green growth through energy efficiency. Thank you.
Thank you, Girish. It's a nice summing up, rather, and also your vote of thanks. So we have now come to the end of this session today. And again, wishing you all a very happy Energy Conservation Day. I have been told by my colleagues that people should switch on their camera so that we can take a group photo. So whoever can, please switch on your camera. Okay, I think we are done. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you everyone for joining this session today.
Thank you, sir. Happy
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ganaik ji, Girish.
Thank you so much.